Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. And on the channel, we talk about Kickstarter, Indiegogo, crowdfunding, e-commerce, you name it. And today I want to really answer a common question that still, I think there's a lot of confusion around, which is Kickstarter's fees and kind of understanding the fee structure there. What goes into it? What comprises it? What are some of the tools that you should know that you might not know about? And we're getting into all of that today, and it's coming up right after this. Okay, so first of all, you've been looking at either the podcast episodes I've been doing or even just browsing the site itself and discovering some really cool creative projects or physical products or board games, whatever. And you're like, I want to get in on this. I want to get on the ground floor. I honestly think a renaissance is happening when it comes to creativity and new innovative products that are coming out these days. It's a large part because of Kickstarter and also Indiegogo. So that being said, if you come to the site here, you've seen, for example, within the last day, you have over 40 projects funded, more than 1 million, which has been pledged towards creative work, and over 12,000 people backing it. So you're looking at this and like, this is insane, this is great, right? Or you're on the mobile app and you want to do something like this. Let's talk a little bit about the costs or the fees that are going to go into running a campaign here. And I think it's a little bit confusing, so I'm going to try to break it down in a no-nonsense fashion. So first of all, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go here to kickstarter.com/help/fees, okay? When you go here, the fees are going to be different depending on the country where you are creating a project from, okay? Now, you might be in one country, you might have a business in another, or you might have you and your business in the same country, or you're not even running the project underneath a business, but it's being basically assessed based on where the project is coming from, and that is so freaking important. You have so many more international creators that I've been documenting that have seen massive success with Kickstarter recently. So we're getting a lot of new countries, right, that are launching new projects. So I'm going to first start with the United States. Now, when it comes to the U.S., and this is also similar with international, there's two components to the fees, and there's also a condition of the fees. So the first component is the actual platform fee, okay? So the platform fee goes towards the operations of the actual Kickstarter headquarters, goes towards the development, goes towards everything behind the scenes, right? Administrative tasks, etc. when it comes to the actual Kickstarter platform. Now that fee comes in at 5% of the total funds that are raised, okay? I'm gonna kind of break that down a little bit in just a second, but it's 5% of the total funds that are raised go towards the Kickstarter platform itself. Now, when I first read this, I think that's a little bit confusing, a little bit deceiving, because that's actually not 100% true. It's only if it's a successfully funded project, right? So very important. If you are not successful, and by success you mean hitting or exceeding that funding goal, you are not going to then have to pay any fees. So if you don't hit or exceed your goal, all of the backers who have pledged to your campaign, they're going to have their credit cards reimbursed. There's going to be no payments that are processed or anything like that. And the project basically is not moving forward unless you relaunch, which a lot of my students do after they've gone through and they've applied some of the tactics and teachings that we talk about and really done a revision, right, of their campaign. But yeah, so if you exceed your goal or you hit it, then you will be under the condition of the fees being assessed. Okay, so very important. Second of all, the 5% is for total funds that are raised, which I'll get into in just a second. We'll talk about that in just a tiny bit. The second part of the fee is payment processing. So payment processing, when Kickstarter first got started, and I started in the industry in 2012, right? When they were first getting started, they were using PayPal, and a lot of other companies were using things like that. Over time, they've kind of gotten more sophisticated, using like Stripe and like those kinds of other payment processors. Every time you're doing a transaction online like that, there are always going to be payment processing fees that are associated with that, or credit card processing fees, right? So right now for the United States, you can see here, it's 3% plus 20 cents per pledge. And this is basically if someone's backing it, you're going to be paying the 3% plus 20 cents per pledge plus the 5% of the total funds that are raised once the campaign actually finishes, okay? So there's payment processing fees, usually, again, between 3 and 5%, as it says there, and it's only if it is successful. And there's also those micro pledges, people that are supporting at lower dollar tiers, under $10. They tend to have a discounted micro pledge fee of 5% plus 5 cents per pledge. You're actually paying a little bit more there in the percentage wise. So that's one thing to be aware of. But let's just say if we were to go here, I urge you, go to this site, go to that URL, and put in your own country where you are actually creating the project from. So if we were to change it to Japan, I already pulled up an example here because my browser always gets so slow when I do these amazing videos for you guys. I try to help you guys. Always slows up my browser for some reason. So we got Japan here. Here's just a simple example of how it's different. So again, the Kickstarter platform fee stays the same, stays at 5%. However, what typically varies is the payment processing fees. So with Japan, for example, it's 4.5% of the total amount. Okay. Now, when I was starting to think about this, and I'm obviously a very kind of nitty gritty guy sometimes, thinking about the total funds that are raised, I think that's also a little bit confusing, right? So what does that mean, the total funds that are raised?
Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description.
So let's just talk about that a little bit because it can really be illustrated. I pulled up this one campaign and I did a video actually recently on like magic and divination and seeing all these new playing card games and tabletop games that kind of have that theme in it, becoming more successful on the platform. So I just pulled up one example. I'm not being sponsored, for this in any kind of way. This is basically an Oracle card deck. And these guys had 980 backers, 69K they raised, still 5 days to go, which is pretty awesome. I really love their artwork. I think it's really pretty neat, so that's why I pulled it up. But if you come here on the right, you'll see all the different pledges or pledge tiers or reward tiers, whatever you want to call it, right? So it's like 45, 65, etc. Now, you would think if you back this, your funding meter is going to go up by $45, and you're going to then be assessed the fees accordingly. However, that's not the full picture, and I actually made a whole other YouTube video on this as well you can check out. So if you go here and you change the shipping destination, so United States, it's $7, all of a sudden that bumped up to $52, okay? And then even a couple more things might happen if we click continue. So first of all, the thing you should notice is that shipping is included in the total amount that you've raised, right? So that word, percentage fee on the total amount, shipping is going to be included in that, unless you do some of the stuff that I talked about in some of the other videos I produced on YouTube. In addition, before you actually check out, there's a really great option for there now to be add-ons where people can actually add different items into their checkout feature. So if they also did that, that would of course bump that up. So you might be paying a higher fee as a result. But it's just something to be aware of that you could, if you wanted to, collect shipping in different ways. But as it is now sort of built into the platform, it would be considered adding to the overall pot or the overall funding pot when it comes to Kickstarter. So I have two action items for you right now with this video. The first is that you want to go here to this URL, Kickstarter/help/fees. Go and look at that for your specific country and see what the fees are like for your country and begin to think about working that into your budget and how that might change depending on your type of raise and how much you're trying to do. The second is that if you're still kind of new at this, I put together a great free course where I've just kind of shared with you some of my best training videos to get you up to speed very quickly when it comes to launching a killer campaign on Kickstarter, as I say. So if you want to check this out, the link for this is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. Again, that link is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter, crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. Go and check that out. And I also urge you, go and check out some other campaigns and start just pledging, start backing a couple. It could even just be throwing $10 if you want to a creator that you like, or even for a $25, $50 tier. It will really help you see what a successful campaign feels like, what it runs like, what the communication is like, and it will be worth its weight in gold. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Go and check out some of the other links I got there in the description of today's video, as well as please give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. It means a lot to me. Leave a comment down below, show some love, and also subscribe to this channel if you want more content like this. I've been doing this for a while, since 2012. I have a great book out there called the Kickstarter Launch Formula, which you can look more into. But if you really just want to get started and kind of want to bite-size way, that free course that I just mentioned is a great place to get started. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Sal, and I will see you next time.